Okay, so I'm gonna just kind of go through a brief little explanation about what I'm gonna do today. So we're gonna do a lot of like breath work and breath holds today. So if you haven't done this kind of stuff, it's gonna be a little bit weird. It's gonna feel strange. So I'm gonna say certain things. I'm gonna say blow, exhale. So first thing is we're gonna take big inhales, big exhales. So this is different than any normal inhale exhale that you've ever done because most of the times we don't actually use the full excursion of our lungs, right? So we're not truly fully inhaling, or we're not truly fully exhaling. So just in that in and of itself is going to feel weird because you've never done it before. So I'm going to say blow, 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 and you're going to think that your exhale is over, but it's not. There's more in there. There's always more you can do, right? So it's like a towel. You can always wring out a little bit more, and you can keep twisting it even though there's no water left in there. Like you can keep going, right? Or if I think about my bicep here, if I use my bicep to flex my arm, my elbow literally can't bend anymore. There's no space left for it to go, but I can keep squeezing my bicep. It'll eventually cramp out. There's no more movement left here, but the muscle can keep trying, right? So that's how I want to think about my exhales, especially. The exhales have to be super forceful. So when I say blow, you're going to exhale, exhale, exhale. You're going to think there's nothing left, but I want you to keep trying to blow as if you're trying to keep squeezing that muscle or keep wringing out the towel, right? Also, it's important that you do pursed lips. So I want the smallest hole possible to blow out of and as forcefully as possible. So I'm going to say blow out a fire, right? So it's not like I'm like blowing out birthday candles. Like I'm trying to blow out a campfire. So when you do that, if you put your hands on your abs right here on your stomach, if you just blow really quickly, like actually do this right now. Yeah, just put your hands right here and through pursed lips, just go, you should feel that tighten up, right? So that's what we're trying to get is we're trying to get the activation of the deep core muscles through our breath. So if I do the same thing and I just go, I'm not going to feel that activation. So it's important that I have those pursed lips. So I like to say like blow out a campfire through a straw, right? So you're really trying long, forceful exhale. So if you can hear, you guys are muted, so I won't be able to hear you. But normally when I'm training with someone in person, I'm listening it has to sound like this. And and then I'm so I'm really, really trying to get there. And then I'm going to say like close, right? So that's the big part of this, is understanding full inhales, full exhales. Then another part is that we're going to do breath holds at the end of those full exhales. So I'm going to say blow, 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 hold. Again, immediately you're going to start to freak out. Your body is going to be like, whoa, I don't like this. It's going to try to just like tell you to just go and gasp air in. So one part of that is just mental. So you have to understand that this is a mental thing as much as it is physical. And you kind of have to just understand that. And it's not going to be, today is not going to be the day that you're going to defeat that in your practice, but it's just over time, you'll get better and better and better. But it's just, so I want to make sure that I try to hold. And again, I'm going to say hold. I'm going to say keep holding, keep holding, keep holding. You're not going to be as long. It's going to be different for everyone what you can hold. So when you need to breathe in, you breathe in, but always try to, if you can, control the in breath as well. Meaning after a long exhale like that, you're going to want to gasp air in. You're going to want to go and just take a big gasp. So we're trying to stay away from that. So even when you want to breathe in because you need it, we're going to try to sip air in, right? So I'm always going to try to blow as much as I can out and take the smallest inhale that I can to stay alive, basically, right? So it's like, instead of big exhale, so I want to take a little inhale in and then blow it right out. So basically, I want every exhale to be bigger than my inhale. I'm always blowing out more air than I take in, right? So the other thing that I want to explain is what we want to do, and we're going to get into this more when we get on the floor. So we think about the ribs and the pelvis, right? So every time I take that big inhale, my ribs and my pelvis go away from each other, yeah? And when I take a big exhale, these two come together. So I'm always looking at the point of my sternum and the point of my belt buckle. I call this closing the gate, right? So every exhale, I want to close the gate. And when I inhale, if I take that big gasp of air, I open the gate, right? And that's what I want to stay away from. So we're using the exhales to close the gate. I can take a small inhale and then blow out more. The gate closes. I inhale, small blow, I'm all, the gate closes. So it's like a cinch where every time I'm exhaling, I'm tightening up, tightening up, tightening up. When I'm inhaling, I'm trying to inhale as little as possible to not lose that connection. All right, so that's really the whole goal of this training, because when I do that, that means my core is working. So my core is working to hold that all together. So you're going to feel it in your abs. You might feel it in your low back. We're trying to get away from that. We're trying to be more abs, but that just comes with time. But the point is that it has to be those big exhales to close the gate, little inhales so I don't lose all of that. Because otherwise what I'm doing is closing, opening, closing, opening, closing, opening, which is okay. You're still getting some work there, but I still want to keep it all closed, okay? And then the last other thing that I want to do, so now we're talking, that was ribs and pelvis. And the only other thing I want to talk about is the sit bones, right? So you guys are medical people, you know that the sit bones are your ischium, your tuberosities right here, right? So I want to sit. So when I say sit bones, right, we're trying to sit on here, right? So like if you put your hands under the meaty part of your butt, like you have like those two little bones. So when we sit, I literally want to be sitting on those bones and have them going behind me. So when I'm saying poke your sits, I'm going to say like sit, more sits, poke your sits, whatever I say. The point is I'm trying to get those bones away from the knees, right? I'm trying to get my knees going one way and my sit bones going away from them. And that's going to put the hamstrings under stretch. So when I say poke the sits, more sits, whatever, I say a million different things. They all mean the same thing. It's just trying to get your sit bones farther away from your knees. And when you do that, you should feel maybe in your glutes, maybe in your hamstrings. But that's really what all the training is about today. So it's ribs and pelvis through the breath, and then sit bones through those glute muscles. And that's really what we're going to work on today. All right. So a lot of talking. What did I do with my notebook? I don't know. All right. So we're going to start with, if you have a place to sit, like a chair or a bed or anything where you're sitting like with your knees, with your, not on the floor. Yeah.
Is it okay if
Actually, no, I'm sorry. What's up?
Oh, Cassie and I were just going to share a bench.
That's fine. But actually, no, I don't want to do that. I forgot. I want to do one thing first. I want to do shoulder and hip ER and IR first. I want to test. All right. So we're actually going to stand sideways to the camera right now, and we're just going to test our shoulder internal and external rotation. So when I do this too, before I start, I'm going to think about that big inhale, exhale, right? So I want to go inhale, exhale to lock this down, because now when I go shoulder rotation, you can see I don't want any of this moving. So a lot of people will go external rotation of the shoulder and they'll do this, right? So I want to use my breath to lock down the core, right? So before we even start anything, I'm going to go big inhale, exhale super hard. And now this is tight, and I'm not going to lose this. Now my elbow is in line with my shoulder, and without letting anything move from my shoulder down, I'm just going to see how much external rotation can I get. Try to just fight for a little bit more. How much internal rotation can I get? Right, again, try not to move through the low back. Try not to let anything move here. So try to keep the elbow in line with the shoulder, so I don't want it drifting forward or back. Exactly. I'm just going to come up, and we're just doing a few times here, because sometimes we're just going to retest this later in the class. Good, right? And then you can flip around and do it with your other arm as well. So just do like 2 or 3 rounds with each one. But again, this is important too, is getting that breath to lock all of this in place, right? So each time I want to big inhale, big exhale, and I want to fight that urge to let my spine, my hips, my shoulder come forward and back, right? So I don't want to do this where my shoulder is rolling forward and rolling back. This is purely the humerus, rotating inside of the socket. Good, and try to keep it a little higher, right? So your elbow stays in line with the shoulder. Yep. Right, and the reason I'm doing this, good. That's fine. We're going to do this. We're going to come retest. Sometimes we'll see that after just some breathing stuff, that frees up the rib cage, it frees up the scapula, and now that changes our rotation later in the class. Okay, so now we're going to come to sitting. So when we sit, right, that's the first thing. I want to make sure I'm finding my sit bones as I sit. So I want to make sure I'm not sitting on the meaty part of my butt like this is how most people sit. I want to make sure my butt is behind me, right? So like my actual butt is out behind me, and I'm sitting on my sit bones. And right, that, like I said, that immediately should put the hamstrings on a little bit of stretch. What I want to also make sure though, I'm not doing this where I'm cranking into my low back, right? So this is pushing back, and it's kind of levering me forward a little bit. So I have a little bit of a forward lean as opposed to an arch in my low back. So it's okay to lean forward a little bit. And now we're just going to do that breathing that we were just kind of practicing. So I'm just thinking my butt is trying to reach as far back as I can. So Camille, I would actually just like slide a little bit to the front of that chair just so you have more space behind you. Exactly. And now you're trying to, as if you're trying to get your butt to touch the back of that chair, but when your torso is going to lean forward. So if I think about my sit bones as a lever, when my sit bones push back, it should lever my torso forward. Yeah, right? So now from here, we're just going to do that breath we were talking about. We're just going to do some work on some forceful breath holds. Okay, so we're just going to go big inhale to start. Exhale as hard as you can. Through pursed lips, right? Blow, 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 blow. And when you have no more air, just hold your breath for a second. Hold on empty. We're going to sit up a little bit, sit up tall, right? So that when you blow out, it's going to try to shrink you a little, right? So we're just going to go blow out hard. And every time, hold. When you need to breathe, we can take a sip of air through the nose, the smallest air we can, and we're just going to keep blowing. We're going to bring the hands up into this kind of field goal position, right? So now elbows in line with shoulders, and we're reaching those forward. So as if you're trying to get your butt behind you and your elbows in front of you. So those two things are going opposite of each other, right? So your elbows are pulling you forward, your butt is pulling you back, and that's pulling your core tighter. So every time we're going to go big breath in, blow hard again, and just blow and hold. So every time we're just trying to blow harder, inhale less. Eventually you're going to need to take a regular breath, and that's fine, but we're just working on tightening up the core, right? So every exhale is tightening up the core, the butt is pushing back behind you, the elbows are pushing in front of you, and think about your core is in the middle, is getting pulled by those two things, right? It's like a rope. We're pulling on both ends, and pulling the knot in the middle is the core. And just try to stay tall, try to think just those things, right? Butt back, elbows forward, butt back, elbows forward as you breathe and blow. When you need to breathe regular, and remember to try to hold as well, right? So every exhale, it's going to get uncomfortable, but try to hold them empty just for a minute. Just for, again, when I say hold, it's, 5 seconds, 6 seconds. It's not going to be very long because you're holding on complete exhales. You should feel your core start to work. Your butt and hamstrings start to work as well. And I don't want to be feeling this in the hip flexors or the low back. I want to be feeling this in the front abs and a little bit in the hamstrings and glutes. All right, good. Stand up for a sec. We're just going to feel, yep, just stand up. So every time I do this, I want to stand up and just kind of take a few steps with the glutes. I was going to put it back together. You guys can also, if you have any questions, if what I'm saying isn't making sense, you can feel free to unmute yourself and just ask questions or say anything. Yeah.
I am sweating so much from breathing. I don't know. I know Shane told me that. I'm really sweating.
Yeah, this stuff is hard. Again, like the way I try to explain this is like we're teaching the body, we're reteaching the prime movers of the body. Right. So like the thing is that what we're trying to do is teach your glutes and hamstrings and adductors. Eventually, we're not going to get into adductors today, but the core to be like the stabilizers and prime movers, as opposed to what most people rely on right now are like their erectors and their quads and their hip flexors. Right. So it's like these are things that are weak and underactive. So it's just like, even though it's something so simple, when your body doesn't rely on them, it's to get, it's like, think of the first time you ever went to work out, right? Anytime the first time you ever did a yoga class or any type of gym workout, it's just hard because you've never done it before. So this is literally, your diaphragm is a muscle that we're training right now that has never been trained in however many years you've been on this earth. So it's just like, oh shit, like this is just, and it's hard. You're going to feel like you did a workout after this, because it is. All right. So look, we're going to do the same thing again. Now we're just going to do a little bit of movement, just a little, because you guys are also sharing a bench. So don't worry, you're not going to rock into each other. But basically we're going to do that exactly what we just did on the chair, but we're going to use the sit bones to generate a little bit of movement, right? So I want to think about this example again. I like the elbow one. So now again, this is my torso. These are my sit bones. So this is my back, this is my front, right? So as I poke my sit bones back behind me, getting them away from the knee, putting my hamstring on stretch, that's going to lever my torso forward, right? So as my sit bones poke back, the rest of my torso rocks forward, right? And then as I bring my sit bones closer to my knees, that's going to rock my torso back, right? So it's literally as if from my head to my sit bones are connected. They move in one certain thing. So what I don't want is any movement through the spine, right? And the way we do that, the way we make sure that happen is that breath. So before we start, we're going to go, we blow this tight, right? This is now vacuum sealed, right? That's why it's so important to get that full exhale. I think about it as a vacuum seal. If you've ever seen one of those like vacuum seal machines, they suck out all the air and then it becomes stiff, right? But if there's any air left in there, that doesn't work, right? If there's even the slightest bit of air left in the bag or whatever the thing, it's not sealed and there's wiggle room there. So what we're doing with this exhale is vacuum sealing the spine. Once I do that, I can't bend at my spine. I can only lean at my hips. Like I can't do spinal flexion until I breathe in. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get away from bending the spine. And now my spine is a rigid lever that's moving on my pelvis. Yeah? Makes sense a little bit? So again, we're going to start. I'm going to say blow first. We're going to blow. I'm going to say poke your sits back behind you. So when you poke your sits back behind you, your torso is going to lean forward just a little. So I don't want you to think about leaning forward. I want you to think about your sit bones moving, and whatever happens with your torso is just going to happen. So you're not going to fold in half. It's going to be a little bit. And then I'm going to say, bring your sit bones towards your knees. When you bring your sit bones towards your knees, you're going to start to fall backwards. And we're just going to kind of rock back and forth like that. All right. You guys can do it on the bench. You guys, we're not going to lean super far back. So you should have enough space. But again, the most important thing is when you sit down, you're finding your sit bones before you even start to rock. So I want to stand up. I literally go like this. I put my hands here and I make sure that I'm sitting on the back of my thighs. Yeah. All right. So my butt is behind me. I'm going to go, we're going to put the hands on the front and back. So one hand on right under your sternum, one hand on your sacrum, right? So when I exhale super hard, I'm going to feel those two get closer, right? Because you're tightening it up. That can't change. So if you start to rock and you feel movement in either hand, that's when you know that you're getting movement through your spine. You're not getting movement through that lever. All right, big breath in. Exhale super hard. And you feel those hands get closer together. Okay. Now, without letting that change, poke your butt behind you and let your body rock forward. So your sit bones, exactly. So your butt is trying to get bigger behind you, and that's just going to rock you forward just a little. Okay. When you can't get any further, all this time, again, when you need to breathe, breathe, but try not to breathe as you're moving. Meaning when you need to stop moving, inhale, exhale again, and then rock back. So now your butt is scooping towards your knees, and that's going to lever you back just a little. Keep rocking back till you feel your abs are going to turn on. At a certain point, keep rocking back. You're going to feel your abs kind of hold you up. And when you get there, just stay there. So keep rocking back till you feel those abs. And then when your abs are holding you up, try to breathe and blow hard again. And just keep tightening that up, right? Think about that cinch. Inhale, blow hard again. Blow, 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 blow. And just let those abs hold on. Right? So again, we're teaching your abs to hold you and stabilize through your spine. Now we're going to inhale again, blow hard, tighten everything up. And we're going to rock forward. So your butt is poking to the chair behind you. Right? And just let it keep poke, poke, poke. Again, imagine you're trying to get your butt to be big behind you. Eventually it's going to even start to peel up your back, right? It's going to you're going to rock forward so much that the butt is going to start to come off the chair a little. That's okay. As long as you're not rocking through the spine. When you need to breathe, again, you can breathe in, but every time we want to think more exhale than inhale. So if I inhale, it's fine, but I have to blow out more than I inhaled. One more time, we're going to rock back until we catch ourselves with the abs, right? So your abs are what's going to hold you up in that position. And just keep rocking till I find the abs. And then again, small breaths in, bigger breaths out. All right, and then one more time, breath in, blow super hard, blow, 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 blow. Again, blow when you think you have no more air left, keep blowing, keep blowing, keep blowing, keep blowing, keep blowing, and then rock forward. Again, try no spine, all glutes. Yes, your glutes should be feeling this right now. Your hamstrings maybe are a little bit on stretch in this forward position because now your sit bones are farther away from your knees, right? So that's putting your hamstrings more on stretch. All right, and we're gonna just squeeze your glutes and stand up. Yep, stand up, regular, breathe regular, take a walk it out for a second. All right, and take a second, you can grab some water, whatever you want, and then we're gonna come down to the floor, so just kind of adjust your cameras and get your mats ready. All right, so when we come down to the floor, it's going to be the same thing, meaning I need to find my sit bones on the floor. All right, so I need to make sure that what I'm doing is, again, if you rotate my body, right, imagine I was laying down on the floor, I need to make sure that my sit bones are on the floor and my upper back, not my low back here. So we do this thing where you're gonna lay on the floor and your low back is gonna be here. I wanna find my sit bones on the floor, which should mean I have this nice natural curve in my back. So we have that natural lumbar lordosis. I want that to be there. Yep, so go ahead, lay down. And Camille, if you could just tilt your camera down just an inch and then I can see a little bit better. Yep, perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, so again, so same thing. So kind of palpate your butt and try to find that underneath you, right? Literally like, yeah, pull it underneath you. So, and then take your hands out, yeah. And you should have a little bit of, yeah, so you see how you have that natural curve in your spine here. Okay, so same thing here. Well, first thing so just to kind of for an example's purpose, just pull your knees into your chest as much as you can right now, all the way. So you see when you do that, your back flattens out, yeah? And you don't have that space in your low back anymore. So this is what I don't want. This is what most people do when they're training abs or something like that. But again, what you're doing now, as you can, when you see that example, is you're getting your spine involved, right? So the whole point of what we're doing is how can we train all this stuff without any movement in the spine, especially the lumbar spine. So it's like we want that natural curve because our spine is naturally curved, but now we want to maintain that while we start to train the core. Okay, so come back, find that position where you were. So that means all I'm showing you doing that is to show you that if you're doing this type of training or any training where we're doing, and you lose that curve where your back flattens out like that, that means we've lost it. That means I don't have control over my spine anymore, and that means I've probably gone too far and I'm compensating by using my erectors or my hip flexors or something else is coming into play because I don't have the strength of what I'm doing to do what I'm trying to do, and I have to get my low back involved, which is not what we want. So we're always going to just kind of regress it. I'll be watching. I just kind of want you guys to understand. All right, so we're just going to do some breathing here. So I want one hand on the upper right here by your collarbone and one hand on your belly. All right, so make sure that you have that natural curve in your spine. Again, try to get your sit bones underneath you a little bit more. Yep. So when I breathe in, I want to try to breathe into my bottom hand, into the belly. So put it like under your belly button, right? So like really, really down low almost by your pelvis, yeah. So I want to try to fill my bottom hand with air, and I want to feel as little as possible in my top hand. Meaning when I take a big breath in, I don't want this where my chest is coming up and this hand is moving closer to my chin. Because again, if you think about what's happening down here, that means that gate is opening. What I want instead right now, I want a big breath into the belly. And then I want to exhale, and I want the ribs to come down, all right? So we're just going to go big breath into the belly as much as you can. Really, really try to fill up. So this is stretching your front abs, right? When we take that big breath in, we're trying to stretch the front abdominals. And then we're exhale as hard as you can. Right? Imagine that campfire on the ceiling. You're blowing out the fire and then hold. right? So just hold there. So we're just doing that for a few rounds, but try to hold as long as possible. When you need to breathe, again, the breath goes into the belly, not the top hand. And then you're going to blow out again. Longer, harder, more forceful exhales every time. And you're going to see that your low back wants to flatten out too, even when you're just exhaling. So try to make sure that doesn't happen. Try to make sure your low back doesn't push into the ground when you're just exhaling. Right? A lot of times you'll see that the ribs want to come down, and at the same time your low back wants to go down as well. But we want to separate those things. My ribs can move independently of my low back, and that's what we're trying to teach the body. So big. Here we're taking bigger breaths, right? So you can breathe regular big breath in. So the hands are just tactile feedback, because again, we're also trying to teach the body and teach your brain that you can control your breath, right? This is another skill that we have that most people don't understand, that you can control your breath. Right? I can breathe into my belly, I can breathe into my ribs, I can breathe into my back, I can breathe different places. I can control the musculature of my breathing, and that controls how the air is kind of displaced. All right, one more time, big breath in and blow out as hard as you can. Remember, blow, 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 blow. And when you think there's no air left, keep blowing, right? The way I think about this is like, imagine if you've ever been sick, everyone has, when you puke and you're like dry heaving, right? There's nothing left, but your body is still trying to puke out more, right? So this is the same thing with breath, right? Like you're like, there's no air left. It's like, that's okay. You can still keep blowing even though there's no air. That's when you're really going to feel your abs, is when you have no air left and you just keep blow, 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 blow. All right, so breathe regular for a sec. We're going to stay in the same position. All we're going to do now is we're going to add a little bit of movement into this to make it a little bit harder, add a little bit of challenge. So bring your feet as close as you can to your butt. So they're just like right there. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to walk you through it right now. I'm just going to explain it and then we'll walk through it together. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the same big breath into your belly. When you inhale, you're going to hold the inhale. You're going to lift your feet off the ground by bringing your femurs closer to your belly, right? So your thighs are going to come a little bit closer to your belly, but I want to do that again. If I do that and my low back flattens out, that means I've come too far. So it's only lift your feet, like try right now, lift your feet an inch off the ground. That's far enough, right? So it's not like before when I said you can do that and your back won't flatten out. If I told you bring your knees into your chest like I did before, then your back would flatten out. So this is as high as we need to go. It's just lifting the feet enough to add a little bit of load. All right, so bring your feet back down. You can also, we're gonna actually go hands on the rib cage now. So your fingers are on the front of your ribs, your thumbs are on the back of your ribs. All right. So now when I breathe in, I want to see, can I feel expansion through my thumbs? Okay. So it's easy. If I breathe into my belly, I can feel it in the front, but can I get that expansion in the back as well? So now when I'm going to go big breath in, hold on full, lift those feet just an inch off the floor, just like we just did. Good. Now exhale as hard as you can. Blow, 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 blow. Exhale everything as hard as you can. When you're fully exhaled, slowly tap your heels on the floor. As slow as you can. You're just going to feel your abs or what's holding that up. Good. And that's one rep. So we're going to repeat the cycle like that. So it's going to be inhale every time. So that's fine. Inhale on the floor. Inhale into the belly, into the ribs, right? Trying to get that expansion. Big inhale. When you're fully inhaled, lift your feet off the ground. Then big exhale as hard as you can. Every last molecule of air has to be out. Every last bit. Your abs are vacuum sealed to your ribs. When you're fully exhaled, now you lower your legs, and the goal is, can nothing move, right? If I feel any movement through my spine, through anywhere else, again, that means that I have some more work to do. Okay, so every time just like that. Big inhale once you hit the floor. Again, trying to fill up those back thumbs, right? So I'm not just thinking about the front fingers, I'm thinking about the back thumbs. Lift up the legs, blow hard. Good, tap the feet. Okay, we're gonna do 2 more times like that. And also don't lose the exhales, right? Especially this type of training, especially towards the end, we've been working, we've going like 20 minutes now already of just breathing. Your exhales are going to want to get shorter. You're going to want, again, this is your diaphragm working, right? So it's going to get tired. You have to keep mentally be forcing yourself to take those big inhales, big exhales. Blow super hard. Blow, 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 blow. Biggest, baddest exhale of the day. Slowly bring your feet down to the ground and then breathe regular for a sec. So we're going to do one more thing from this position. We're going to start the same way we just started, which is big inhale, bring the feet up. And then what we're going to do is you're going to extend one leg at a time, right? So again, these are like these kickouts, yeah, that you've seen. Lots of people do these for abs. But again, this is the whole goal is different. So a lot of times you'll see people literally put their hands under their back when they do this, right? Or they'll put one of those little pillows there. But that's because they don't have the strength up here to hold that. So what they're really doing something that's too advanced for them, and their low back has to pick up the stress. And because that hurts, no one wants their low back to do this, they put their hands here. So instead, we're actually just going to learn to do this correctly, get your abs to do the work. But it means that you don't need to extend your leg all the way. So I'm going to say straighten your leg like 50%. So if here is the, where you start, you can straighten your leg this much, you might feel in your abs. So we want to go. Yeah. You have a question, Shannon?
I was going to say, because Cassie and Camille both get like the back pain for the leg extension. So just for Camille too, blow until you just feel your core on. Don't go into your back if it's into your back.
Yeah. So that's what I was going to say. So the thing is, you have to make sure that if you feel it in your back, that just means you've gone past where your abs can control, right? So that's what I'm saying. Don't worry about how far out you get. It might only be from here to here. If I still feel it in my abs here and not my low back, then that's the range that I work in. Okay, so that's the point. And also understand that the more you blow, the more diligent you can be about forceful, hard, obnoxiously annoying exhales, the less you'll feel it in your low back. Like there's a direct correlation between like when I do this type of exhale, I feel it in my low back versus when I go and I don't feel it in my back. Because that is turning my abs on. That's teaching my body. So again, as annoying as it is to keep doing those super, super hard exhales, that really is the difference between getting your abs to do the work and feeling it in your low back. All right, so hands on the ribs. Yep, big breath in. Fill everything up. Lift the feet off the ground. Bring your feet close to your butt too. So they're super in. Okay, blow super hard. Blow, 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 blow. And now we're just going to start extending the right leg slowly, slowly, slowly until you feel your abs catch. And when you feel your abs holding, just keep kicking out. You're going to feel it. Again, if your low back starts to flatten out and if anything starts to change, that's when you've gone too far. And you're just going to hold there. So when you get to that out position, breathe in and blow hard again. So every time we're trying to tighten this up, right? That cinch analogy, blow, 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 tighten up. Tiny inhales. When I say sip air in, again, just enough so you don't die, and then blow it out again. Good. One more sip of air. Breathe in. Blow it out tight. Hold on empty. All right. Now breathe in. Bring that leg in. We're going to switch legs. Don't let anything else change. All right. Big exhale. Blow, 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 blow. Again, we only move once we're exhaled. We're only move like in between breaths. We're not moving as we're breathing. So fully exhale and then extend the leg. Yep, left leg, just extend it wherever you can. It's just adding load. And then you're just breathing there. You're just trying to tighten up. Good. Breathe in, blow hard. Again, you can breathe in, but you have to blow out more. There has to be more exhale than inhale. Good. Bring it in. We're going to switch. We're going to do one more time with each leg. Try not to lose it, right? If you need to rest, rest, but make sure your low back isn't pushing into the ground. Make sure you still have that curve. Good. You're fine. Good. Big breath in. Exhale super hard. All right. And extend slow, slow, slow. right? All we're watching is, can I control? Your abs are going to latch on. Literally at a certain point when you're extending, you're just going to feel your abs are holding that leg up. You might feel it in your hip flexor. You might feel it in your low back. If you do, try to just blow. A lot of times if you just exhale a little bit harder, it'll get to where it needs to be. You'll feel it more in the abs and less everywhere else. And also, this is just practice. If this is your first time doing this, it's not going to feel 100%. All right, bring the leg in, inhale, and then last time, blow, 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 super hard. Again, blow out. There's a fire on the ceiling. You're trying to blow the roof off. Your breath has to touch the ceiling above you. As annoying as it is, as hard as it is, as uncomfortable as it is, just extend that leg and try to blow. Try to tighten it up every time. Again, the ribs and the pelvis keep coming together. Every exhale brings them closer together, and we need to keep that. Ribs down, ribs down, ribs down. Good. Bring it in and rest. Rest for a second. Good. Breathe regular. Do whatever you need to do. We're going to come onto our sides in a second, so you can stay in these positions. But just take a second. Again, regular breaths, regular everything else. All right. So we're going to come lay on your side. You're going to lay on your side. Whatever arm is down, you're going to kind of make a pillow. Yep. So you're just kind of here. Straight legs, straight arms, straight everything. So from top of your head to your ankles should be completely straight. I want no bend in the hips, no bend in the knees. This top hand, we're going to think about those field goal arms that we did before. And now that hand is just kind of out. So your elbow is in line with your shoulder. The hand is on the floor. So it's kind of like a kickstand for you. So let your hand actually, yep. It can be on the floor. It can be on your palm. It doesn't have to be fingers. It can like literally be on your palm, something like that. But just make sure the elbow lines up with the shoulder. Right? So, yep. So now I'm thinking about, so just like when we did the sitting before where I said your butt is reaching away from your elbow. So now we're doing the same thing with the elbow and the upper back, right? So when I, if you imagine I'm on the floor, that when I inhale, I want my upper back to kind of move back behind me, and my chest is kind of going almost concave, and my elbow is trying to reach out in front of me. So that tricep is getting on stretch. All right, so that's all I want to start with for now. So it's just big inhale into the back, my chest and my back move back. And then I exhale. When I exhale, I want to blow super hard. And these bottom ribs that are touching the floor, like your obliques, I want to come off the floor just a little bit. So when you exhale and blow super hard, you're going to feel your torso straighten up a bit. And just bring the bottom ribs an inch off the floor. And you'll feel your side obliques working, right? So you feel kind of like if I lay normally, like again, just like how my low back will kind of slump in. Here on my side wants to slump in. So all I want to do is blow and bring these bottom ribs, yep, just a little bit off the floor. It's not like a crunch. I'm just making it myself even. So now every time I breathe in, I'm rounding my upper back, and every time I exhale, I'm bringing those bottom ribs off the floor a little bit, and we're just holding that, right? The core, the side obliques are all just cooking and holding that position. Reach through the arm. This arm is active. The kickstand arm is pushing out. Again, that elbow is trying to get away from your back. Your back is trying to get away from your elbow. It's always a tug of war, right? We're just trying to put those muscles on stretch, right? The tricep is on stretch right now. And the exhales get harder every time. Blow, 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 super hard. And when you think there's no air left to blow, keep going, keep blowing. Good, and hold for a second, right? Try to hold on empty, try to stay uncomfortable. This is about being comfortable in the uncomfortable. It's impossible to do, but that's what we're trying to train our body to do. Good, awesome, breathe regular for a sec. Good, rest, and then just flip around. We're gonna do the other side. Does that make sense though, what I said, like with getting your bottom ribs off the floor? Do you guys get that? If you want a thumbs up, does that make sense? Yeah. So just in doing this, it's super, like this is, that's hard. It should be super challenging. Like this one is like very hard for me because again, it's just this fighting gravity. We're just training these muscles to stabilize your spine in this position. There's nothing, revolutionary about it, but you should feel it. So just make sure, again, that the legs are super straight, the hips are super straight, right? I don't want the butt behind me. I want everything in a super perfect line. Okay, we're gonna go kickstand with that arm. So the tricep is reaching away, the elbow is trying to get away from the shoulder is trying to move back towards the behind you, right? So big inhale and exhale super hard as we bring those ribs off the floor. Right, so yep. It should just create a little bit of space where now those muscles, those tiny core muscles are actually having to hold you up, as opposed to just letting the floor do it, right? You're not resting on the floor anymore at this point. Let the legs be dead. Don't worry about what's happening at the lower body. The legs are just dead weight. And we're just, every inhale, same thing. You small inhale and then blow out more air than you breathe in. There has to be bigger exhales than inhales. And it has to be long exhales, right? It's not till you get to the end of the exhale that those deep core muscles have to come in to help, right? Like if we just do regular inhale exhales, your lungs, your diaphragm can already do that. It's only these super long exhales that get to do this. Good. Breathe. Blow. All right. Good. Rest. All right. You can stand up, walk for a second, breathe, shake it out, breathe regular, walk regular, move regular. All right, we're gonna lay it back down. So we're going to stretch our hamstrings right now, but in the same way that none of this stuff is like normal. This is not like how you would normally stretch your hamstrings. So you're gonna lay on your back, just like we did before, and find your sit bones so you have that natural curve in your low back. Yep. So we're going to go big breath into the belly, just like we did before, right? And then we're gonna lift the feet off the ground just an inch. Okay. Actually, Camille Howard, sorry, can you move the camera like back? Yeah, and like back a little, just so I have a little bit more like view. Yeah, perfect, that's fine. All right, so we're gonna go natural curve in the spine, sit bones. I'm sitting on my sit bones, right? Big breath into the belly. You're gonna bring the knees towards you a little bit, so your feet are off the ground, and you're gonna interlace your fingers behind one of your thighs. So it doesn't matter which one you pick, we're just gonna do, so that's the side you're gonna stretch. Good. All right, now you're gonna exhale super hard, blow, and you're gonna extend the other leg that you're not holding all the way out just a little bit. So yeah, you're kind of, it's your core is working just to hold that. All right, so now we're going to stretch the hamstrings here by straightening out the leg. But the thing is, I want to make sure that when that happens, I don't flatten my low back in the same way, right? So a lot of people are going to stretch their hamstrings. They're going to see that low back is going to flatten out right away. So again, that means that we're not getting into the hamstrings as much as we are getting into the low back, right? So instead, I want to make sure that I use that super hard exhale, blow. And when I do that, I'm not flattening out my low back, because if I did that, I've gone a little bit too far. So again, I'll explain it more as you go. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna dorsiflex that ankle, right? So try to pull your foot into your shin as much as you can. So pull your foot into your shin, and now push your sit bones into the ground. So your ankle is dorsiflexing, your sit bones are trying to push into the ground. Now without losing that, without losing your ankle, without losing your sit bones, kick your heel up towards the sky, right? So your butt, so you're gonna start to straighten your leg, but you're going to see you don't get nearly as much as straight as you normally would if you stretch your hamstring. So that's perfect. So now when you're there, blow hard. And now don't think about straightening your knee. Think about more sit bones into the floor, more ankle into the sky. And that will pull on your hamstring. Again, it's that same analogy of we're pulling two sides of the string, and the hamstring is the knot in the middle that we're pulling tighter. So we're just going to blow hard. Dorsiflex the ankle more, right? Pull your toes into your shin, pull your butt into the ground, and that should get more hamstrings. Okay? Breathe in, bring it down. That's 1. We're going to do 5 like that, right? Bring it down. Yep, that's fine. Breathe normal for a second. So we're just going to do that. That's one stretch. You got 5. All right, so grab on again. You can let the other leg you can put down if you need to, if it's bothering your hips or your low back or something like that. But again, if you have your foot up, it's just a little bit added challenge to your core. So yeah, so same thing. So every time you're gonna big breath in, blow super hard. We're gonna pull the toes into the shin, and then roll the sit bones into the floor. And then without losing those things, the heel is trying to touch the ceiling. So they're straightening the leg through the heel. Again, I'm not thinking about the knee. I'm thinking about the heel pulling away and the butt pulling down. And that's going to put my hamstring on stretch, right? And I'm just going to kick into there and blow hard when I have that end range. If I feel my low back flattening out, if I feel it in my hip flexors too much, I need to blow harder. So kick the heel up, straighten the leg as much as you can in this position. Top leg, top leg, top leg. Yeah, it's all right. Good. All right, bring it down. That's 2. We got 3 more. Bring it down, reset for a sec. Good, but don't lose your sit bones. Don't lose the low back. Even though we're resetting, this is just to give the hamstring a rest, right? We're doing the same leg. Again, grab on behind. Yep, that's fine. Blow super hard before you start. So toes are pulling into the calf. Your front of your calf should start to feel it as well. You're really, really pulling your toes into your calf, and you're really pushing down with your butt. And now straighten that leg, straighten the leg with the hamstring as much as you can. But now go for more sit bones, right? Now pull your sit bones back under you, right? Your sit bones, when you straighten your leg, your sit bones are going to want to come up with your leg. So now we have to try to find the sit bones back underneath us. And now the heel pulls away as well. The toes pull towards the shin. The heel pulls towards the ceiling, right? So this is not like, we're not actually using our hamstring. We're using other things to pull on the hamstring. Good. Bring it down. We do 1 more on this side. Good. Grab on behind. All right. Big breath. Blow hard. Again, super annoying. Your breaths want to get shorter and choppier. Just blow super, super hard. Blow, 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 blow. Poke the sit bones hard into the floor before you start. Squeeze the ankle, squeeze the toes into your shin, and then start to straighten up. Don't worry about how straight it gets, right? The less straight it gets, you're probably the better, because that's when you really know that you're using the right things, right? That means my low back isn't flattening out. That means I'm not going into my hips. That means I'm going into my, I'm actually getting my hamstrings. And kick, 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 kick. Good. Bring it down, and we're going to switch legs. That's perfect. So just make sure that, same thing, make sure we have that low back arch, make sure that the sit bones are still on the floor, and we're just going to switch sides. All right, so big breath in. You guys good? Questions? You can ask a question if you want. All right, good. All right, so big breath in. So again, make sure though you have that, find your sits first, right? So make sure you have that low back is off the ground. Good. Big breath in. Toes flex towards the shin, right? Yep. Poke the sits into the ground before we move, right? So you're trying to push your butt into the ground. Now blow super hard, blow, 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 blow. Toes flex, and then the heel is trying to find the ceiling, right? So your heel is just going up. Don't worry about your heel. Your heel will pull on the hamstring. But now, again, that's going to want to pull your butt out from under you. So try to bring your butt back underneath you, right? Your butt, the meat of your butt is trying to move towards your upper back as your heel tries to move towards the ceiling, right? Those two things are going away from each other. That's pulling on your hamstring, and then blow to tighten it all up. Good. Bring it down. Breathe regular. All right. We need a few more like that. Same side. All right. Big breath in. Blow super hard. Blow, 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 blow. Everything out. Blow everything out. Blow everything out. Toes flex, right? Dorsiflex hard, right? You're trying to touch the top of your foot to your shin. And then you're going to kick into the heel. And then you're going to pull the sit bones down. And when you get as high as you can, blow hard again. Blow hard again. Blow hard again. Sip air in. Blow hard again. Good. Bring it down as you breathe in. That's 2. We got 2 more on this side. Bring it down. Breathe in. Blow hard. Just go right into the next one. Blow hard, blow hard, blow hard. Again, dorsiflex the ankle, right? The toes are trying to touch your shin, and then your heel goes up. Your heel is trying to pull away from that knee. So your heel is trying to pull away from your knee going up. Your butt is trying to pull away from your knee going down. It's just pulling that string. Straighten the leg as much as you can without losing the sit bones underneath you. Good. Bring it down. One more time. All right. One last round here. One last stretch. And then when you get to the top, wherever you are, just hold it and blow. Hold it and blow. Hold it and blow. Hold it and tighten it up. So blow hard first. Sit bones are underneath you, poking into the floor. More sits, more sits, more sits. More ankles, more ankles, more ankles. And we're just going to blow here and hold. Blow, 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 blow. Try to find the butt and the ankle are moving away from each other. They're moving away and they're pulling on that hamstring. Good. That's fine. Bring it down. Good. All right. We're going to go right into some glute bridges, right from this position, right? So you're in the right position already. You can let your feet down, right? So from here, so again, natural curve in the low back, okay? So when you do a glute bridge, right, we're just pushing down through the full foot, right, to raise our hips off the ground, okay? So I want to make sure that my pelvis is in the correct position. So I want to make sure, so again, I have that natural arch in my low back. We're going to take a big breath into the belly. We're going to lift the feet an inch off the ground, right? So when I do that, if nothing else changes, that means my pelvis is in the right position. If I lift my feet off the ground like that and my low back moves or my pelvis moves or anything else, that means I'm not in the right position. So if everything didn't change, that's great. So now I'm going to blow super hard. I'm going to slowly lower the feet to the floor. And as soon as the feet touch the floor, I'm going to squeeze the glutes up and into a glute bridge position. Squeeze up and try to touch your hips to the ceiling. Yep. Squeeze as high as you can. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Yeah. Squeeze as high as you can. More, more, more. I want the hips to be above the ribs, right? Push your big toes into the floor. Big toes push down, blow harder again. Now blow hard, blow your ribs down. Good, right? It's as if you're trying to get your butt to pop through the front pockets of your pants. Big toe pushes in, big toe pushes down. Open the knees a little bit and get a little bit higher. Good. Now breathe in as you come down, but make sure you land on your sit bones on your butt, not on your low back, right? Find your sit bones on the way down. So that natural curve is still there. Exactly. Perfect. And we're going right into the next one. So big breath into the belly, same way we just did. So big breath into the belly. Then we're going to lift the feet. Blow super hard. Blow, 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 blow. When the feet hit the ground, we shoot up. Exactly. Squeeze the glutes. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Again, make the glutes cramp. I want to make like your glutes are trying to pop through the front of you. Big toe is staying pushing down to the floor. Heels are pushing down into the floor. Ribs are staying down, right? So we're moving around the spine. The spine isn't actually moving, all right? Inhale on the way down, find the sit bones again. We're just going to keep doing it. We got 3 more like that. So inhale, we find the sit bones, go right into it. Big inhale into the belly, lift the feet. Big exhale and bridge. Yep. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Good. Make it cramp. Again, when you're there, think big toe into the ground. It'll make you get a little bit higher. Now think open the knees. It'll give you a little bit more space, right? We're fighting for millimeters here, right? If you get a half a centimeter higher, that's good. But blow down, blow the ribs down. Don't let the spine start to arch. Make sure that your ribs and pelvis are staying in line. Good. And now find the sit bones on the way down. Good. One more time here. Blow super hard. And squeeze, 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 squeeze. Good. And we're just going to hold. Again, squeeze the glutes as hard as you can. Don't let it drop even a millimeter. We're just squeezing here, trying to make it cramp. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Flex the glutes. Again, your glutes want to explode through the front of your pants, right? They're trying to touch the ceiling above you, but don't let that get your spine out of alignment. So we need to blow the ribs in every time. Good. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Think about your glutes turning in and up even. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. All right. Good. Bring it down. Rest. Awesome. Okay. Awesome. You all right there, Shannon? No? Good job. All right, we're pretty much done. What we're gonna do is just stand up. I just want to come back and retest that shoulder, and then we're just gonna do some recovery breathing towards the end. You guys look like you worked hard today.
Way, way different when I'm going through it by myself. I'm like, I'm squeezing as hard as I can.
Yeah, I know, it's super frustrating. All right, so we're just gonna come like line up with me this way. Again, elbow lines up with shoulder, right? Big breath in, blow super hard. And without letting this change, where can I internally rotate to? Just try not to let it drift back behind you. Try to keep it right in this line. And where can I externally rotate to? Yep, without letting your ribs flare. Good, 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 good. Yep, just do a few like that. Yep, this is perfect. Just testing, right? We're just feeling it out. One more time, and then just flip around and do the other side as well. Good, keep it up a little bit higher. Good, yep, just try to make sure they don't drop, right? So we start here. This is gonna wanna happen where my elbow kind of drifts down. So I'm trying to make sure that this alignment is what stays the whole time. Right, so I'm going to trick myself into getting more by dropping my elbow, but it's not about that. It's about where can I get in this same alignment. All right, that's fine. Okay, so last thing we're going to do, some actual breath work. I know this is Shannon's favorite. We're going to lay down and we're just going to do maximum breathing. All right, I'll walk you through it. So this is true breath work. So we're going to start with inhales, then we're going to do exhales, and we're just going to do holds. So basically what we're going to do, you're going to lay on your back, just find a comfortable position. Your eyes can be closed. I'm just going to walk you through this, okay? So we're going to first start with maximum inhales. So when I say maximum inhales, it has to be the most physical air that I can take in, right? And then we're just going to go breathe out naturally. So it's not going to be a super hard, forceful exhale. It's just going to be like a natural, like a gasp out of whatever it takes. So that we're going to continue that process. Maximum inhale, natural exhale. Maximum inhale, regular exhale. Okay. We're going to do that for 1 minute. So you're going to get super oxygenated. Then at the end of that 1 minute, I'm going to tell you hold. So you're going to hold your breath after doing maximum inhales for a minute. We're going to hold your breath as long as you can. Next, after we do that, we're going to go to exhale. So now we're going to do maximum exhales like we were just practicing. Blow everything out, and then natural inhale. So whatever gas, and then maximum exhale again. We're going to do that for a minute. And then on the end of that minute, I'm going to tell you hold. So the second one is going to be harder because we're holding at the end of an exhale as opposed to holding at the end of an inhale. Same idea, super simple. I'm going to walk you through it. All right. So we're going to start. You can have your hands wherever you want. You can close your eyes. You can have them open. I'm just kind of listen to my voice, and I'm just going to walk you through it. So again, we're doing maximum inhales. So big breath in as much as you can. As much breathe. Try to fill your chest, fill your belly, fill every little last bit of your lungs. All right. And then just a regular exhale and just breathe it out, and then go right into the next inhale. So big, hyper oxygenating. We're trying to get as much stretch on the abs or the ribs, trying to get as much air in as we can. And then just a regular little out, and then go right into the next one. Big breath in, big breath in, then out. And then we're just going to go big breath in, big breath in, and then out. Just keep doing this a few more times. We got a few more seconds. Big, as much, really try to stretch. Try to get more air in than you've ever got before. More stretch in your abs, more stretch in your chest, more stretch in your shoulders, your upper back, everywhere is opening up. Exhale. And then on this next inhale, we're going to hold. So you're just going to breathe in as much as you can. Breathe, and then lock your lips and hold. So I can't see when you guys exhale, just try to hold. When you exhale, just put your hand up, but try to hold as long as you can. So understand that right now, your body is telling you to breathe. It's not due to a lack of oxygen, right? We just hyper-oxygenated for a minute. You have plenty of air. It's just alarm signals are going off that your body does not like this. But understand that that's just a mental thing. You can keep holding your breath. You have plenty of air. Nothing bad is happening. Your neck is going to start to spasm, your chest, your abs, things are going to start to feel weird. But the goal is just to try to fight that. This is a mental game. right? There's no need for you to freak out. Your body wants you to, but this is how long can you hold it for? When you need to breathe, breathe, but try to remember that you're just fighting, fighting, fighting. Put your hand up when it's done. Keep holding if you can, keep holding if you can. And now when you need to breathe, just go back into those regular breaths. Big, good. All right, so now breathe regular for a second. Big maximum inhale. And now we're gonna go to maximum exhales. So big maximum inhale, one time, and then maximum exhale. After you breathe everything out, blow, 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 blow. When you inhale, now we're taking a short inhale, just a gasp, just as much as you need, and then we go right into maximum exhale again. So we're doing the same cycle again. So now when we get to those maximum exhale, when we hold, that feeling is going to come on a lot quicker, right? But again, it's the same thing. We're hyperoxygenating right now. We're breathing. You're still breathing, right? You're blowing out everything. You're still breathing in. I'll tell you when to stop. So blow out super hard. Try to get every last molecule of air out and then sip air in. Big breaths in. Big breath out, sip air in. Sorry. Big breath out, sip air in. We have 15 seconds, so go a few more breath cycles. So blow out as much as you can. Sip the air in. And on this next one, sip air in, blow out as much as you can and hold. So on empty, we want to lock the lips and hold. Blow, 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 blow. Everything out. Your abs should be feeling it and then just hold. Lock your lips. No more inhales, right? Same thing. Those alarm signals are going off automatically, instantly. You're gonna think you have to breathe, but it's fine. We just did 3 minutes of breathing work. You're okay. Nothing bad is gonna happen. It's just fighting that urge. When you need to breathe in, do it, but try to hold out for another few seconds. Good. All right. And now we're just gonna go 1 minute of full inhales, full exhales. So exactly like we did the whole time, just biggest inhale you can, biggest exhale you can, 1 minute. All right. Let's do it. Big inhales in. Big, super hard exhale out. So again, we're trying to get the full excursion of the lungs here, meaning every last molecule of air out, and then fill every last drop of your lungs, every last bit of space with air on the way in. And just keep going up and down like that, up and down. As much air in as you can, as much air out as you can. You might start to feel weird. Again, we get tingly sometimes. Your head might start to feel lightheaded because, again, we're just not used to doing this. This is just, we're just breathing. There's nothing bad can happen here. Blow super hard, big inhale in, big exhale super hard. Few more breaths like that. One more big breath in. Exhale as hard as you can. Blow, 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 blow. Breathe in. And we're done. Be careful sitting up. Again, sometimes you can be a little lightheaded after that, but just chill. You're good. That's it. We're done. You can unmute yourselves. I hope you guys had fun.
No, that was really good because I have as Shannon said, I have the problem of flattening my back every time I do an ab exercise, so then I just avoid ab exercises.
Yeah.
But no, that was really helpful. I definitely do need to work on it because I still, at some points, I do feel my back like kicking in.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, listen, I talked to Shannon about that. There's no, again, you have to understand that this is all about restructuring how your brain works. Like your brain relies on your low back, right? Because it just doesn't know any better. So we're, aside from multiple things are going on, we have to build the strength to do it, but we also have to teach it to do it. So like right now it has neither of the two. So it's like, even if it knew how to do it, it doesn't have the strength. And even if it had the strength, it doesn't know how. So we're doing two things at once. So it's not going to, and it's impossible for it to happen right away. This stuff is, I mean, I've been doing this type of practice since like I started in like March, and I'm like just getting to like where I feel like competent in it, you know, and it took me months to get there. And I do this every single day, like 7 days a week, sometimes multiple days per week. Like multiple times per day, I'm doing stuff like this. So it's like, it really is. But the benefit on the other side of that is that, again, like, it's like my back doesn't do the wrong thing anymore. Like now it's like little things that used to bother me just don't, because now I've taught my brain to rely on the right thing. So it's like, don't feel weird or that it's like it just can't be perfect the first million times, but the million and first time, then it will feel good. I guess that, if that makes sense.
I texted Paul this week, Camille, being like, I'm so sick. Like my erectors don't stop chiming in. And I've been doing it. I don't do it 7 days a week, but I've been doing it consistently since.
Yeah, it really is like, it's like one of those things, like it's literally just your brain will always follow the path of least resistance, right? And, you know, so it's like, and the path of least resistance, when followed every day for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, however, depending on how old we are, it becomes very hard to get out of that routine, right? So it's like, again, we know this route, now we have to build this route before we can even take it. So it's just like, it's just a constant repetition thing. But, you know, the first step is to understand that there is another way, that there is a practice that you can do. And that's what this is. It's just kind of training your brain, training your body. So you guys did good. Awesome job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you're interested in like doing more of this stuff, like I do offer like classes like this, like pre-recorded. That's like normally what I do. This is my first time doing it live. But normally what I do is like sell, like I have like a membership site and stuff like that. So if you're ever interested in something like that, you can ask Shannon for my info, and, you know, but maybe I'm going to try to do like more of these classes. So that's part of like the theoretically, there were supposed to be people from my membership group who are on this call. They're all texting me like as I'm doing it. They're like, "Oh shit, I overslept. Can I jump in now?" But yeah, so if you're interested in that, if you're interested in doing more or just classes and stuff like that, like I'm happy to, you know, figure something like that out. But you guys did awesome. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much.
Have a good day.
Later, Paul.